We've met in Zoom, we've met in person, we've shared poetry prompts, we've talked about different types of poetry, we've just talked about what they want to do with their lives, and I'm continually impressed by young people. There is so much going on in the world around them, and to find their voice of poetry at a young age is so incredible, so important. I didn't start writing poetry until my 20s, and so I think what a head start they have on so many of us, and to find their voice early, and to find something that they can use to question the world, to strengthen themselves. I think we're in the presence of people who will hear their names again. The first name is Maya Brown. She's a recent graduate from John Paul II Catholic High School. Maya loves to read, write, and especially laugh. Her favorite writer is Edgar Allan Poe because of his dark humor. She sometimes enjoys company, but enjoys her sleep the most. Well, I hear that. Maya will be continuing her writing at Meredith College in the fall. She has some of her work published in last year's Gilbert Chappell Distinguished Poets Anthology, and she hopes to be able to write as freely as possible. Maya Brown.
The first poem is it's the last poem. It seems I am always last. No one wants to be last, but still, I always end up back at the place I started. Is this a good thing? I never even wanted first, but still they crossed the finish line before me. Why is that? There is no way they could be better than me. Or maybe, just maybe, they have something I don't. There is a way to distinguish between me and them. Sure, we have different hair types and wear different clothes. Our solar opposites, but aren't we still planets? There will be a chance soon, but waiting is always hard, and we argue soon be out. I know there is a way for me to still place. The last place sucks, but at least I placed. At least I was still on the track. I got lost a couple of times, but I never ran into the woods or turned back. I finished just like everyone else. That should count for something, anything. If only they saw that, instead of the one who stayed clear of everything in the first place. Do you think I'm pretty? Come on, tell me. It would help me process the mirror. Why haven't you said it? I need to hear you say it. I'm starting to believe I'm not. You know that's not good for me. You know I need you to tell me. I can't see it myself apparently. Yeah, I know you love me, but just tell me again. I promise I won't be insecure anymore. But you know that's not true. You still have time to redeem yourself before I call it quits. I hate doing that to you, but you know, I need you to do this for me. So, I'll ask again, and hopefully, you have come to your senses. Do you think I'm pretty? Yes! This one is called I Am Tired. I am tired. I am tired of having to be skinny and small and pretty. I am tired of friends who couldn't care less about anything other than themselves. I am tired of having to be the person with a decent personality from time to time. I am tired of working hard for things others assume I have. I am tired of being used by people who said they would help me. I'm tired of having to fight for myself when I didn't even think it was a fight. I am tired of people telling me the same things over and over again. You have to work hard. Or maybe it's not about me. I am tired of having to support others' weaknesses. built up when I was younger. I still can't remember why I built it, but ever since it was built, I've never taken it down. It's not that I can't move on, I just haven't had time to pick up the hammer. I know the hammer is on the counter, but I had been meaning to get the whole place renovated soon. I was just waiting for something or someone to come around. Not that you were meant to be the new builder, I just thought it would be a good start for the both of us. Though there are many rooms to look through, I would prefer that we open them one at a time, just so one of my rooms would shock you. Pick one. Not that one. Too much clutter. Maybe a closer, wait, no, not that one. Too much trauma to unpack. Maybe a closer one. I have already opened this room, so the work will be less. Not that it requires more work or anything, it just might be easier to get through. I am not trying to push you away, I'm just trying to make it easier for the both of us. Now let's unpack. This is my last one. This is called The Sun Is Not Always Bright. The sun was not bright when my mom got pepper sprayed by a white cop that day for trying to protect her car from a fight. And the thing was, she was calmer than ever that day. The sun was not bright when a white cop harassed me at a church, me and my friend at a church conference, and accused us of something that we did not do. I wonder why the sun is only sometimes bright. The golden hour paints my skin beautifully, like my appearance and features. But if that was the case, shouldn't I be able to stand out? The moon is too precarious for my taste because you can never tell dark from dark. That's why the sun is always considered for me. Sometimes the sun is bright enough. Seeing that I am more visible, but still afraid of my life? No. I wouldn't want to become a black and blue butterfly amid the sun. It is too glorious for that sight. I will challenge nothing, but I do challenge myself. I applaud this world for the love that some people still have in them. Though it can be hard to identify, it is still there. Those people keep the sun bright for me. People like my family, people like my friends, who are all kinds of colors. They make this world worth loving and living through all of the bad.
My first poem is called Why I Write. I let my ink bleed on paper to give love a reason. To have a place where romance can spill out on these lines. I break lead every minute of the day so someone can feel heard. So silence doesn't seem as scary and lonely as we believe. I forcefully mark out unwanted lines for the ones with anger untamed. For the fire that won't also burn us in the ignition of its process. I let that sheet become soaked for all the people holding it in. For the ones who taste tears and sleep on a wet pillow at night, I crumble paper after every mistake and restart so failures are accepted. So disappointed faces aren't the only ones we get used to as time goes by. I take letters and jumble them on paper to have a place just for me, to create a haven for myself, to feel safe and free, just my words and I left alone. This one's called The Traveling Bird. Come and see me at my window at noon tomorrow. Cross the plains and over the sea of trees. Visit me with the gift of your voice that is so sweet. And let my window be a stop for you to rest. Then go on your way and travel out into the world. Discover the ocean and the mountains Earth gave us. Leave your song behind as you go farther out. Explore the world, but please always come back to me. Whisper me all the secrets you uncovered on your journey. Play me the new tunes you picked up on the streets. Tilt your head as you chirp about the exciting trip you had. And hop around my window as you ramble on passionately. Find the freedom you dream of up above in the sky, so far out. But return and light me with your stories and tales. Make your way through the land and the world around you, but always perch back up right here at home with me. This poem is very special. It's dedicated ocean would be heard miles away. The leaves would always be falling and crunchy. Rain would fall on Thursday with dark clouds, and the moon would hide forever from the sun. If it were up to me, we'd still be breathing. I would still be seeing your face and on your memory. You would still be keeping your family at peace, and Mama wouldn't be going through everything alone. If it were up to me, I would make dirt rock solid, so you wouldn't be a grave near the pasture. I would take flowers and make them live forever and never wither, so we wouldn't have to change them at your grave every other week. If it were up to me, you would have seen all your grandkids graduate. Caps and gowns would be something that breaks our hearts. I would remember more memories when you were here and not feel guilty for forgetting about you. If it were up to me, I wouldn't remember what your funeral was like. I wouldn't remember that it even existed, and I wouldn't have to attend. I would wipe that day from everyone's memory and let us forget. And we would have never had to mourn the loss of your presence. If it were up to me, you would be with us right now, and you would be here making everything better. But it's not up to me, no matter how bad I want it to be. Instead, since you can't live here, we'll let you live in our hearts. This one's called Guilty of Silence. Behind this picket fence is nothing but unwanted truth. The lawn, the only visible story, the only one they want to hear. In the walls is where the truth is displayed and hidden from eyes. A secret hidden but heard and ignored by its neighbors who pass by. You act as if his voice isn't heard from within the streets around. Like her bruising doesn't peer through the makeup she covers it with. You pretend that the kids aren't aware of the heart in his acts. Like you don't see their eyes of paranoia when a bottle is in his hands. You start to see it's easier to ignore the truth than expose the lies. Is confrontation harder than preventing her body from decaying? It's easier to stand back and watch children lose their mother. At least that's what it seems like when no one will speak out. Silence will keep you safe, but guilt is dangerous when no one speaks. One day it won't be his hands that are covered by her blood. And when the kids are in constant pain, he won't be the only reason. Silence became a crime as you watched him slowly kill her day by day. This is my last poem, and it's called Shattered Crowns. He slumps into his twisted throne, a kingdom built of tears and groans, a crown pierced by a shattered beer glass, a rain of nights that never seemed to pass. Her voice, a call for help, was weak and hushed, using his power to belittle and crush. The pain that stays and lingers deep and low, slam fists in the sounds of the shatter, are a mother's woe. Eyes watch in fear as they peek over the corner, scared that one day they'll have to mourn her, hearts pounding in the rhythm of hits and beats, long, restless nights, not an ounce of sleep. If this kingdom were to have a garden, it'd be her. Bruises blooming all over her bare skin, left in a blur. Tears that water the pain and nurture it as it grows. He'd be the harvester, feeding on her as she goes. The kids grow quiet, their voices small, afraid to speak, afraid to call, dreaming of the nights where peace might stay and not to be chased by his drunken sway. One day they'll leave, they'll find the door, escaping the storm that shakes the floor. But for now, they watch, they cry, they pray for morning light to chase them away. Wow.
Yes.
Hello, I have 4 for y'all today. First one is called Valentine's Day. When desire pulses through me at 3 in the morning, it roils my stomach. The taste of unbrushed teeth in an unfed mouth, because I have no one to kiss goodnight and no future to strengthen my body against. I think constantly about the blank slate of my pale face, the shiny glass emptiness of my mirror eyes. They say visual affirmations are more effective, so I wallpaper my room with anatomical illustrations to manifest myself as fine. I am loath to loathe myself, yet also loath to love, and so neutrality tenderly undresses me, but then curls like a cat at the foot of my bed and stares to numb completion. Pillow talk. I imagine a cigarette hanging from its flat, impressionable mouth. I ask how my bedmate closes the door. I don't, it replies. Every door I approach slams shut in my face. Interesting, I answer. I always turn the knob so it won't make a sound. This next one is called Authorial Intent. There is something very strange in thinking of you now. Relief, in the idea that I will never lay my eyes on you again, when once it was all I prayed for. Now you are a performance in my therapist's office, a monologue I recite. Look, I was in love once, but it was just a reenactment of when I was 5, and all my friends were God or imaginary, and love was something I earned through deed. You handled the script horribly, made vulgar notes in the margins and scribbled cunt over where I'd written my name, ignored the stage directions so long I became a spectator in my own show. No soft feelings. I can take kicks with my kisses. I just think the mailman is tired of me asking if he has my royalties check. This one is called Fantasy. I said, "Can you feel that sun?" And she said no. And I beckoned her out of the shadows and tilted my face skyward, and my skin lit up gold, crown to soul. And I said, "Can you feel that sun?" And she said no. And I took her hand and pulled her close and pressed my nose to her temple and breathed in her warmth. And I said, "Can you feel that sun?" And she said no, but her voice held the nostalgia of 1,000 dusks. And I cracked one eye open in suspicion, and she was radiant and grinning. That's my last one. It's called Double Negative. Look in the mirror. I don't not love you. What's one more spill in the mixture of liquids on the kitchen floor? See how much of me comes up when you scrape it off? I'm starting to think the decay is following me. Before the moths, it was vultures. The same song comforts me every morning, but it grinds you down fine in the passenger seat like the espresso we take every morning to keep the symptoms at bay, and you're keeping your smiles in a box under your bed. I won't break my promises to open it, but ask me why I named myself after a saint. Ask me why I need something holy to be made of me. Because I'm maddened to find I'm the only do this once kind of person. To find we're rare, real things in a paper world that has insisted I don't trample it with my clumsy heart, swinging from its cavity in my chest like a wrecking ball, ventricles stretched. If I don't treat myself like God for making art, who will? Who will? And in the final moments before those precious chords snap, they will lean in and tell me the secret, and it will be beautiful, and it will fix everything, and I will throw my head back, collapse like a dying star, and whisper, so it really is just about the light. Small, tiny, diffracting light, until it folds into the horizon like a wink, until it was never, never there at all.
I've been writing a lot of haibun recently. Haibun is a prose poem, so normal sentences, and then it's followed by a haiku. And so there's a space between the two, which is a Japanese aesthetic called M-A, which is kind of translated as dreaming room. And so it's interesting, like the haiku shouldn't directly connect to the prose, but it is connected in some way. So the first one I'm going to read is, well, it's sort of self-explanatory. The title is my grandmother's name, who died in 2021 at 104 years old. And the title is her name. Andre Noretta Drisdale Young, 1917 to 2021. I carefully wash my grandmother's silver spoon with a worn blue kitchen sponge, my sudsy fingers cautious of its thin handle. This spoon, more vulnerable than the other three we keep in a special slot in our utensil drawer on the left, always visible. Grandma gave me all four when I visited in late spring as daffodils bloomed on the balcony of her apartment. Holding a clear stone up to the light, the tilt of her glasses. She died the next spring, days after her 104th birthday. Tonight, my son, dawdling on dinner, wiggles this particular spoon between the wooden slats of the table. When he finally brings his dishes to the sink, the spoon's handle is bent, weakened, like for a moment, my heart. Moonflower watch. I stir honey into steaming tea. So these haiku are not 575, they're modern haiku, English language haiku, and it's more about juxtaposition or between the images. I like that poem. It's very rare that I'll write. I write a lot about my kids, but this was the time I was mad. And most of the poems are about joy, but I was upset. But as a poet, I was like, well, it's a poem. And so that was nice to translate that. But then also I think about what's he going to think when he reads that when he's 30 or something. He's 6. I'll read this poem. I was in the tub. Well, it was the beginning of the poem. It was November, I was in the tub, and yeah, that's where this poem starts. I don't think we appreciate the heart enough. I sink into the hottest tub of water I can make. Coconut oil, bergamot, Epsom salts. It is November and I am cold and dry. My ears underwater, I hear my heart beat. It's faster than I want. I take calming, deep breaths, feel and hear my heart slow. I am 38 and newly amazed how my heart keeps on even through my body asleep. This muscle contracting since the 3rd week in my mother's uterus has never stopped. Can you really imagine it? I don't think we thank our heart enough. My heart is more than I can grasp, an unending burden of gratitude. My heart is me, yet beside me, I cannot control it. Slowed or sped, it is inexorable, a train I am on. The landscape of me passing, riding a bike the day I received my first pair of glasses, brown fingers spread on black and white keys, a diamond ring in my pocket, rain with no raincoats, catching my daughter, catching my son, grandma's yellow tulips, the day I discovered poetry, lifting a shovelful of earth in the garden, a black man embraced by scented water.
Mm-hmm.
I did catch my kids. I caught one, and then almost 3 years later, caught the other. I'm going to read this poem, and then I'll read the end of the long poem. Maybe one short one. Okay, so this is a short poem. It's another haibun. I don't read this poem because I wrote this poem daughter was like a newborn. So it's like that first fall, so like fall 2016. But this poem is just going to be published this summer, and somebody made the comment that immigrants in this country might feel this way right now. Things I must consider. The precise scissoring of one rectangle from an official copy of my infant daughter's birth certificate to remove her social security number while preserving her name and mine. Keeping this document on my person since I am brown and she is light, and when we are out, police with eager bullets may command me to prove my daughter is mine. I must consider how even such a groveling may not be enough. Vivid moonlight, I rub a silver dollar my father gave me. I'm going to read this long poem. It's in the North Carolina Literary Review. It's Upon Saba Crown. And I'd say the North Carolina Literary Review because Lyra's the managing editor. She's got some copies over there. If you don't know about this journal, it's a crown of North Carolina literature, and they're doing a lot now with celebrating North Carolinians and North Carolina writers. They have a poetry contest every spring, but then they're also sort of always open for essays or poems or stories that talk about North Carolina, and specifically teaching North Carolinians. And so it's an important thing in our state. I don't take it lightly that they make something in paper and they make something online and they're connected with the university. I think hopefully they get more grants. So anyway, this poem, it's 7 stanzas, and each stanza is a Quonsaba. Quonsaba is a poem invented by Dr. Eugene Redmond in 1995. It's a 7-line poem. There's 7 words in each line, and none of the words can be longer than 7 letters. So I wrote 7 of them, and the last line of each is the first line of the next. I wrote about my son, but I think it's about everyone. We were all children once, and we all have hope. On Saba Crown. This country says you were born flying in the face of its oldest rule, brown and loved. We lift you up, cradle your warm face to our faces, the murmur and spark of your skin. Your blood crossed over ocean and swung the lash. Your wings, gold and fire. Lash your wings with gold and fire. Invent fine knots that have no names. Tie them snug around your green bones. This world wants to watch you fray. Won't warn you the term for loop is eye. An eye that slips is called noose. You keep you in view. Our name anew, keep you in view. Pray the spirits of our spiral cells, their hope, tall drums, tight, deep, boom, battle dance of spun blood toward light. Each jitter red drop an elder's eye. Under your skin, there buzz a blue, ancient chorus, hums power in your moves. Ancient chorus hums power in your moves. I know from the clatter how elegant your elbows bend to cast rainbow blocks across our ash floors. You unbuild towers we made of selves before you sparked. Your small fingers offer us bright bricks. More again, you say without saying. Here. More again, you say without saying. Here, watch me sway, but stand, toes curled, press my bones, weight into ash floors, yet of bones into ash, into dust. I know nothing of winter except winter. An absence of wild geese, early evening sun on silver limbs, your lifted gaze. Sun on silver limbs, your lifted gaze burns away all of me but memory. how your skull above your ears fit in the cradle of my spread fingers, your soft spot exact to the center of my palm, our pulse, same rhythm, spring breeze charms the air with lilac. Spring breeze charms the air with lilac, you ignore the grass between your toes. New word, more. A wren takes wing out from the crayon in your fist, acorn filled with earth. Hear my yearn, my blood near yours forever. I know this world sings. You were born flying.
Loved and raised me between my mother's inflamed legs, the halogen bulb of a hospital room with an offering to no sustained sun. My skin, blood-stuffed and vertex-coated, glowed under lamplight like an inquisition esca. The world below me, a jaw agape, chock full of giant teeth, foreign waters. And as the doctor lowered me into this world, my mother's chest, I laid my head and accepted it. What else was I to do but pray? By nothing but intuition, milk from my mother's breast, and warmth from her embrace. I was no better than a fawn. How I wish I could have been born screaming. How I wish I could have told her, put me back, put me back, put me back.
Anyway, this poem is called My Two Souls, Two Desperados in a Mirror. Two gradual but meaningful souls appeared in a mirror. One soul named Reckless, the other named Cautious. Reckless can feel their presence is not wanted due to not being seen. Cautious just wanted to be seen from a new perspective. Both are seen in a mirror, but Reckless doesn't feel real. Both souls see the same image in the mirror, so why do they feel so different from each other? The darkness can collide with the light. That doesn't mean that colliding is always enjoyed. But there is always a difference, no matter what you see. Those souls are meant to be, because reflections of oneself are what people tend to not want to see. Okay.
Yep, we were in,
Thomsen General Store. No, I love that poem of mine. I just love that one. So I'm so glad that you read it this afternoon? Right. I need to be accurate, right? And I really enjoyed the readings today with everybody just putting their lives on the paper and us suffocating and just like, wow. So this poem is called Nadia Becomes a Sonnet, and it's actually in the 2025 North Carolina Literary Review online issue. And it's one of the poems in my current collection manuscript, which is about the first 100 days of the Ukraine war. And I've mixed in acrostic poems, so I love the reading. It's where I get my poetry. So this one's called, so it's Nadia Becomes a Sonnet, and it's after Alla Horska's painting The Bride from 1960. In her black and white form, Nadia appears as a mosaic bride, her veil hanging askew by storms, which swept her eyes and chiffon aside, placing them across two planes. Her eyes gaze straight ahead. Although framed by shards, she stares and almost pries open those bars that cage and claim her soul within these 14 lines. Nadia is desperate for ammo to protect and make something fine out of her blown-up town and mesh hope from her floral shawls into the marrow of broken bones, grief, and torn flesh.
Latest collection, Here's Plenty. I have lived in many parts of the country, but I've been in the South for quite a while now. This is a celebration of the South, and particularly of North Carolina, where I've been living And the central metaphor of the book is the garden. I've lived in some pretty, I went to high school in Idaho, and the weather there is very stark. And so North Carolina feels lush to me. I would like to read a poem called Offering. From one day to the next seems the difference between drought and flood, corporations and the poor. Should we pack our suitcase for the future? We bend over gardenias in the backyard, salvia, rosemary, daylilies just now blazing, wondering if nature can withstand our age. Sun fighting with wind and rain, wars consuming everything we believe. Time to visit the cemetery. Bring the pure lilies we picked this morning as our offering to the dead. We owe them our knees and this stab at continuing, paying homage to names and all that's green.
I have so enjoyed everything tonight, and I'm always so inspired by young people who know already what they want to do, and that is to like be a poet. Y'all keep poets in here. Thank you, Gideon, David, Hailey, and Lyra for the opportunity. This poem I'm going to read is actually a poem that was first published in the South Florida Poetry Journal. And it is based on an account that maybe happened, I think it was last year, it might have been the year before, called the Alabama Brawl. Do you remember the Alabama Brawl? The Alabama Brawl was an event that occurred in Alabama on the docks, where one man was trying to get a larger boat to come in, and he asked a group of people not to, to move so that that boat could come in and people could disembark. And instead of them moving the boat, they decided they were going to jump the security guard. Several of them jumped the security guard. But I don't think it turned out quite like they hoped. Matter of fact, I'm sure it wasn't. But it became known as the Alabama Brawl. So if you don't know about it, I would encourage you to actually go look it up on YouTube. It's quite a show. This is from my book, Whispers from the Multiverse, my most recent book. My first book is The Fire Talker's Daughter, and I'll tell you about that if you want to ask me. You sang, walk together, children, don't you get weary. The strong men keep coming on. The strong men get stronger. Sterling Brown from Strong Men. My mama was insistent. She wanted her children to swim. Something about her not learning how in her youth. Maybe the not learning had something to do with little access, little brown children not being allowed in pools, public or private, in the Jim Crow South, where and when she grew up. Or maybe it had something to do with having to accomplish what had to be done to carve out a life worth living for herself and her family. Or maybe, just maybe, there was a fear etched into collective memory, a lingering fear that the water often took in but did not always bear up live bodies. Those original memories having been collected upon the sorrowful witness of our enslaved ancestral kinsmen trafficked on folks. So distraught by the horrors already begun and the others sure to come that they leapt from the ships into the sea. Whatever the reason, she determined that we would be waterproof my sisters and I. She even took lessons herself in adulthood, although she claimed there was a critical period for learning how to do it well. So we swam summer after summer, even participating in the Parks and Rec swim team, and when we left the fold, married and had children, she insisted on paying for their lessons and would attend those lessons whenever she could. Mama declared that it was one of the most important skills to have. And while I wondered about the obsession, I never questioned it. I love the water, but for her, being able to conquer any fears and not be pulled under was vital. I thought about this yesterday as I witnessed a young brother in Montgomery, Alabama leap into the murky river water, swim towards the fray, focus on the danger, and not be consumed. A beautiful movement of love to help his people. My mama marched in the movement. In her lifetime, Mama listened to and breathed the winds of change, crossed broken earth, spoke fire, and equipped her charges to glide through water, a necessary movement. Yesterday, something moved in me, moved in others. Keep moving.
From an ongoing series called Observations I Made of Myself. And it is literally just poems that I write while I'm either out shopping or really just doing any day-to-day activity I might be doing, usually procrastinating, as I said in my bio. But the title of this one is The Author Sits Parked in a Faded Spot Beside an Arby's in Falls Church, Virginia at 9:03 in the morning. Which is not a great place to be. At 9:03 in the morning. They write, I am back home, sinking into sadness again, into swallowing hard and tensing my jaw, and tears at the behest of people I love well. I burrow into a hole I also love well. Self-sacrifice offers me her tender arms as it fills with dirt again above me, whispers, look how easy it is to write from rejection. Don't you want to be beautiful again? Daylight falls through oxygen holes in my tomb, honest and harsh. I need to stay alive enough to stay alive, but can't bring anyone with me.